Hello and welcome to Dad Got This. Today we answer the important questions like, how do you smoke salmon on the Ninja Woodfire Grill? And why did the salmon blush? That one I can answer right now, because it saw the ocean's bottom. Probably one of the most requested things I get when I say, what should I cook next, is fish. Everybody wants to know how to do fish on the Ninja Woodfire Grill. So we're gonna do some salmon, but we're not gonna do normal salmon. We're gonna do a Caribbean shrimp stuffed salmon. Let's get to it. When it comes to prep for this dish, there is not much. You need to dice up some peppers. Now I've got 3 different kinds of bell peppers. For me, I'm using bell peppers because the people in my family do not enjoy spice, other than me. If you like spice, go ahead and use some jalapenos. Scotch bonnets would be very appropriate for this Caribbean-inspired recipe. All I did was remove all the ribbing, and then we're gonna dice these. You really only need about half, and you could really get away with just 1 pepper, but I wanted to make it pretty, so I used 3 colors.
The technique I'm using here is I'm just running my knife down the inside of the pepper and then you roll it around until you get all of the insides out. It's really simple. Then you just cut and dice.
The next step is to make a spice mixture, and you can use any kind of Caribbean or Cajun, any kind of spice mixture you want. I'm gonna make a Caribbean style spice mixture with some stuff I had lying around in my pantry. Got a teaspoon of turmeric, a teaspoon of cumin, 1 teaspoon of coriander, a teaspoon of ginger, and because it's me and I like garlic, a tablespoon of granulated garlic, 1 teaspoon of sea salt, 1 teaspoon of ground black pepper. Now you can add more of this if you want it spicier. You can even add cayenne or any other kind of spicy pepper to the mix if you want to make this spicy. But I'm just going with a teaspoon of black pepper. And finally, 2 tablespoons of brown sugar. I just like sweet with my salmon. I think it goes well, so I'm adding brown sugar. We're gonna go ahead and mix this up to get a nice mixture. Now I save my old shakers from spices so that I can reuse them. And 1 Caribbean-ish spice mix. This is probably more than we're gonna need for the recipe, but it doesn't hurt to have extra. In this bowl, I have shrimp. I don't know, maybe 15, 20 of them. 14, 19 of them, roughly 30 shrimp. You enjoying this video? Well, there's a few simple things you can do to help me out. 1, you could subscribe if you're not already. 2, you could give the video a like and hit that bell, all right? And we are just gonna chop these up. Now you wanna devein them, shell them, tails off, but I'm lazy and I buy mine frozen with that all already done for me. And I am just going into like little chunks. I'm gonna say, depending on how much salmon you have, probably get away with half of this amount of shrimp. Nothing fancy, rough chop. Got some salmon. We're gonna cut these into fillets and cut pockets into them. This happens to be skin on, doesn't really matter. Nice chunky fillets, about that size. Now I'm trimming them so they're relatively the same thickness. That way they're gonna cook a little bit more evenly. All of this extra salmon is going to go to make some ceviche for me, 4 good sized fillets. Now in these fillets, we are gonna cut a pocket all the way down to the skin. Just gonna let us stuff them with our shrimp mixture. I got a block of 8 ounces of cream cheese that I've left out to soften at room temperature. To this, we're gonna add about half of my shrimp, I think. The rest of that's gonna go to ceviche. Handful of onion, or red pepper, orange, yellow peppers. We're gonna do about 1.5 tablespoons. And we're gonna mixy mix. Now, I should do this in a bigger bowl. You want this mixed well. Once it's fully mixed, we're gonna stuff our salmon. We are going to give our salmon a dusting of our seasoning. Open each pocket. Get that mixture down in there nice. Can be a little plump, I think. Now, I made enough shrimp mixture to do that whole salmon, but that's too much for my family. So I'm gonna reserve this and I'll do something with it. Maybe I'll make fried shrimp or something. I don't know. But you go ahead and use the rest of it and do that whole salmon fillet with all of this. Take your salmon, a little bit of extra seasoning, just a spritz of lime juice. I feel like that always goes well with fish. And this is gonna go chill out in the fridge while our smoker comes up to temp. And now we're down to what's probably the easiest part of this whole thing. Let's set up the Ninja Woodfire. Make sure you have your drip pan installed in the back. We're gonna use the regular ribbed grate. For today's cook, we are gonna use some smoking pecan pellets. I like these pellets quite a bit. They add a very unique flavor to your food. And at this point, I'm going to do the dad shake. That either compacts the pellets, separates them, and gives them lots of air, or does absolutely nothing. I do it every time. We're gonna do these at 200 degrees Fahrenheit or 93 degrees Celsius. So we're gonna set it to the smoker setting, and for our time, we're gonna set it to, I don't know, 2 hours. I don't know if it's gonna take that long, but we'll see. And that's it. When you are smoking, you don't need to do anything else other than hit that button. It's gonna say IGN, which means it's igniting the pellets, and it's getting ready to go. Here's a question I get from a lot of people in my comments. Can you add pellets to the pellet hopper when it's smoking, or if there's already smoking pellets in there? You can top off the pellet hopper at any time in my experience. I've done it many times. You can wait till it gets completely empty and fill it up, and then you just hit that wood fire button again. On the big one, you just hit the wood fire button and it reignites the pellets. On the older, smaller unit, you had to hold that button for 3 seconds, the wood fire button, and then it would ignite the pellets. A note about temperature. The USDA recommends that you cook fish to 145 degrees Fahrenheit, which is 63 degrees Celsius. Now, most chefs recommend that you cook it to like 130 degrees Fahrenheit or 54 degrees Celsius. That's so it doesn't get all dry and terrible. So I'm gonna go for a kind of in the middle, and I'm gonna go for 135 or 57 degrees Celsius, which should keep it moist. Now, how you wanna cook your fish is completely up to you, but those are your kind of temperature guidelines. We're gonna cook these directly on the grate once it says it's ready. I am gonna use the included probe so that I can know exactly when my fish hits 135. All right, we're up to temp. Look at all that wonderful smoke. I'm gonna pick my thickest fish. Since I cut the slit in it, not the greatest, but I think it'll work. Let's pop into the Ninja app. If you want to know exactly how to set this up, sync it to your phone, get everything started, I have a really good quick start guide on the channel for this. I'll link it down in the description below if this is your first time here. But so we're gonna check this, and it says our fish is at 51 degrees. We're gonna go to thermometer cooking. Yes, add thermometer. And fish, we're gonna set it to 135, which they say is medium well. All right, now it's gonna stop cooking when it hits 135. It has only been 22 minutes and it's telling me that this is done. I highly doubt that. Only 120s in the thickest part of the fish. I think it's where I put my thermometer that messed me up. We'll stick this back in for a little bit. I repositioned the thermometer, put them back in. We're now at about 36 minutes. It says it's 133. We'll go ahead and open it up and check it with the other probes. With my trusty Thermapen. 140. These are done. And there we go. Dad's Caribbean-ish salmon. Cut it down the middle here. Ooh, looks nice. Nothing left to it but to give it a try. I got some salmon, I got some shrimp. That's pretty darn good. Smoky, creamy. The fish is perfectly cooked. Flaky, tender, not overcooked or rubbery. It's really, really good. I think you could probably use a little bit of extra salt, maybe some spice for me, but other than that, it's a winner. Hope this makes some of you who are hoping for fish recipes a little happier. Don't worry, there will be more. And if you could do all of the likey, subscribe stuff, hit it with a thumbs up, give it a comment, share it out to some friends. That stuff really helps me out. You do not understand how much it helps out. If you really want to support the channel, consider joining and becoming a member. Information is in the description below. And I guess that answers the question that Can you smoke salmon on the Ninja Woodfire Grill? You definitely can, and it comes out pretty darn good. Now, I do have one more question for you. What do you call a fish wearing a bow tie? Sophisticated. That's terrible, right? Dad may smoke amazing fish on the Ninja Woodfire Grill, tell horrible fish dad jokes, but one thing Dad will never do is an outro. So that's it. Bye.
This episode of Dad Got This was brought to you by our producers. Thank you very much.